Hey friend, welcome to my podcast, The Fit Soul. I'm your host, Amy Ramsey. In this podcast, we will be discussing soul-filled strategies to unleash your confidence, increase your energy, and all the things healthy lifestyle. If you're a Christian woman who is ready to reach your God-given potential, walk worthy of your calling with abundant joy and energy, girlfriend, you are in the right spot. I mean, you only have one life to live. You might as well maximize it. Buckle in, and thanks for listening. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast, to the YouTube channel, where we are continuing our conversation today. In fact, real quick before I get started, I want to tell you a funny story that just happened. So I'm doing a series right now. This is part of that series on Mastering Midlife and just some of the unique problems that we have in ladies in midlife, particularly Christian women in midlife over 40. And so I read something. They were talking about midlife. And it was supposed to be like this positive message, but it said, buy this program and you will learn how to survive midlife. And I thought, what? Actually, I think I thought an explicitive. I thought, are you kidding me? Survive? What the heck is that supposed to mean? It was younger people. And I thought, well, that's an interesting perspective. Do I want to survive midlife or do I want to freaking thrive in midlife? And I don't know about you. I think I do. You want to thrive in midlife. And so that's what this series is about, is like, how do we master it? How do we overcome some of that just kind of thought process are the best of our days are behind us? Heck no. It doesn't have to be if you don't want it to be. And so we're talking about in this series of just some common misconceptions and how do we actually thrive during this stage, this beautiful phase of our life. And today, one of the problems that I'm talking about is I'm addressing the start-stop syndrome. You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? You start something and then you quit and you don't make progress. Okay, so it could be, let's talk about nutrition, because I'm here to help you create healthy habits in your life. I'm here as a high performance coach, but also an integrative nutrition health coach, also a personal trainer, also all the things healthy lifestyle. So let's talk a very common thing. I get questions all the time is nutrition and fat loss and weight loss. And women think that they're stuck with not being able to make success, not actually able to, they just almost have given up. They've struggled with their weight and trying to lose weight for whether it's 20 years and you can put in your own story there, whatever that looks like. So maybe for you, you just struggle back and forth with that 10 pounds, back and forth, and it feels very frustrating. And you start programs and you kind of fall off a little bit. Life happens, which it does. Life happens. And we have to figure that out, in the middle of starting a new program or new nutrition plan, or really trying to tweak things. And life happens a little bit and it gets us off our game. We were starting to create a new routine and some new habits, and we're really focused on it. And we've got a fresh belief that, gosh, I can do it this time. And then life happens again and you fall off the wagon. And you know what I mean by fall off the wagon, right? Like you're done. You're done. And you actually didn't make progress forward on this whole process of a healthier lifestyle, improving your nutrition. Maybe it's an exercise plan. Maybe it's all of it all together. And it feels very discouraging. And what happens is when we do that cycle so many times, we actually start to lose trust in ourselves that we can actually do it. So we're talking about that today. I'm calling it the action consistency conundrum, because that's darn sure what it is. And I'm going to address the problems that lead up to it. But if you want the Cliff Notes version of this podcast, I'm going to give you real quick the solutions. I'm going to go over into some science. I'm going to go into some statistics. I'm going to go into a couple and the reasons is why you're probably struggling and not making movement forward. I'm going to go into the science of habits and habit loop and all of that. But if you are like, Amy, just give me the nuts and the bolts because I'm sick of this and I want to get started. Let me just give it to you real quick. And then we're going to go back and break it down. Here's your solutions to that problem. Number one is one habit at a time. Now, I know you get motivated. You finally get your mojo back. Like, by golly, I'm going to do this thing for real, for real. And, we're going to tackle everything, right? I'm going to go to the gym every single day. I'm going to count my macros. I'm going to count my calories. I'm going to food prep, and it's going to take me 8 hours. I'm going to have everything ready for the week. I am going to resist every temptation that comes my way, whether it kills me or not. And we legit, here's some other examples. I'm going to get up early every day this week. I'm going to have my quiet time. And we have these really, really, we're excited about it. And we're going to get all of these things done. But what happens when you implement too many goals at one time? You will get overwhelmed and you're not going to make progress forward and you're probably going to quit. So focus on one habit at a time and work on mastery of a new habit before adding in the other. So you don't spread yourself too thin. And also so you stay really focused on the goal. All right. Solution number 2, stop being hard on yourself. That when we change, it is slow growth is better. Slow and steady wins the race. You have to be patient with yourself in this process. I teach just that kind of that grace and the grit. It really does require an amount of grace over yourself and grit as you're learning something new. Change is hard, period. The end. Change is just stinking hard. And your brain wants to keep you safe. I'm going to talk about that here in a minute, but your brain's wanting to keep you safe. And therefore it makes it, it's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. And you're feeling resistance about it. And then you've got automatic urges because it's what you know to do. It's how you know how to cope and deal with stress. It's what you do every single day. It's what your body's in the rhythm and the routine. And to go in and to change, we have to disrupt the rhythm and the routine and the norm. That's hard. That's hard. So be kind to yourself, please. Y'all, I'm telling you, I do so much work with women and it just breaks my heart how hard women are on themselves. And I get it because I'm overcoming this, but man, I can be so difficult on myself. So I want you to think about it like this. If you wouldn't say what you're thinking about yourself and the frustration you're having towards yourself about not making the change as quickly as you want it, would you say what you're saying to yourself to a beautiful small child? And if you wouldn't say what you're saying to a beautiful small child, don't say it to you, because that is not, here's the interesting thing, it's actually not going to help you do better next time. I think sometimes we think, oh, well, if I'm just beat myself up enough and I just go on this beat up cycle, then I'm going to do better next time. Actually, you won't. Very interesting. So to remind yourself of that too, like, I'm going to disrupt this pattern. This isn't serving me and it's not going to help me do better. All right. Number 3, harness the power of community. Join a group activity. So whatever it is, that habit that you're trying to incorporate. So let's say it's you're wanting a more intimacy with Christ. You're wanting a deeper relationship with the Lord. Well, join a Bible study. There's a ton of them online. Good gravy. I'm hosting one right now, free in my Facebook group. Join community. So there's, of course, church, there's community groups. I have a community. I'd love for you to join mine, where we actually focus on walking worthy with our bodies, with our lives, with our minds, and with pursuing the call of God on our lives. So harness the power of community. All right. I think I'm on number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Celebrate small victories. Every single day, I want you to get in the habit of celebrating the small victories that you made. Now, it could just be a mindset shift. It could be a tiny little action. Maybe in your goal, like, let me give you an example. Maybe even in your goal of better nutrition throughout the day, and you're really focused on whole foods, and you're prepared, you've got your mindset straight, you're really dedicated to it. And then something happens in the day and all of a sudden you find yourself eating handfuls of candy corns and pretzels and Chex Mix and this delicious trail mix. Not that I know by example. This actually just happened to me 2 days ago. That's why I'm saying that. All of a sudden, I find myself like legit eating gobs of this candy that was not on my nutrition plan. It was literally throwing me off for the day. It was not at all what I had planned. And there I was, right? But what I'm learning, and I want you to learn this too, is instead of beating myself up, what I learned is that I can fall off of the wagon right now, or I can celebrate the wins that I had that day, because I almost just, here's what a lot of us do. And this is what I almost did. I almost just decided, you know what? I've blown today. So let me just keep going about my merry way, and I'll start again tomorrow, or I'll start again next week, or I'll start again next month. Y'all know how we think, right? But what I did this time, and I'm celebrating this victory with you, and I'm also giving you some coaching tips, is instead of falling off altogether, I made it my purpose to get back on for the day. I made it my purpose to go ahead and hold myself accountable with my journaling. I made myself do that because I wanted to see. And instead of beating myself up, I was able to look at it and go, you know what? It's not the end of the world. It is not the end of the world. And you know what? You can do better. And so when you find yourself in temptation, Amy, how can you actually control yourself better? What will you do next time? So there was so many successes with that. And this is such a tiny, I know it's a minuscule story. I'm just trying to illustrate for you that that is an area like that, something like that. You can celebrate your success and stop being so hard on yourself and kind of jump back onto the bandwagon, right? Okay, next, reframing your failures, which is kind of what, actually, that's a better example. You know what? I'm not going to re-record this. Just know that celebrating your successes, and that example I just shared, I reframed my failure. Instead of thinking that, oh my goodness, it was a setback. No, it wasn't. I really, really actually learned something about myself. I learned how quickly I needed to focus on more self-control, and that I could have a little bit's not going to kill me, but y'all, I gobs and gobs. It was not good. I was sitting with my friend Gabby, and she was enjoying herself, and I thought, well, I'm just going to enjoy myself too. And I ate way more than her, and I just kept going back. That's not okay. But it was, when John Maxwell talks often about failing forward. And so when we really get in that habit of, hey, what did I do well? Number one, celebrating our successes. And then how can I learn from the things that didn't go so well? I can do better. So how could I do better next time? It is such a different way to incorporate grace, incorporate self-compassion, incorporate forgiveness for ourselves, that actually, here's the thing, it moves the needle forward. Again, we're talking about that start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. The problem with the stop is obvious. We want to keep progressing forward. Slow growth is so important. Okay. A habit journal. It's so important to track your progress. It's so important to, like my health coaching clients, especially with weight loss, fat loss, track what you're eating. It's crucial. You're able to see, it gives you a progress, and it also gives you that place for reflection. With my health coaching, I have a habit coaching app, and it's actually designed to focus on, it works with your brain to create these new habits in your life. So write down stuff. The practice of journaling, you guys know I'm a huge fan of journaling, because it helps you to make micro adjustments regularly as you just take that time to celebrate your victories and go, hey, where do I want to improve? It helps you to look at each day to day instead of getting completely off course, like starting in January, I do this, and then I kind of don't pick it up again until May. And then I start thinking about it again into December. And then what am I going to do in January? That y'all know there's so much science around that. New Year's resolutions do not work. And, at the time of recording of this particular podcast, we're sitting in the middle of October, and there's kind of there could be a mindset of, okay, well, what do I want to accomplish for the new year that's coming up? And where do I want to work on the new year? Like, what can you work on now? What can we focus on right now, and start making that progress a little bit? I'm a big fan of journaling. I'm a big fan of high performance journaling. The one that I'm going to write one. I'm going to write one for Christian women. It's in my brain and exactly what I want to do. I've got to do it. But there's one that I do like, let me just tell you, and it's not for everybody. And I actually don't do it 5 days. I don't even do it 5 days a week. I do it about 3 or 4 days a week, but it's Brennan Bouchard's high performance planner. And so I find that helps me to get really focused. So if you struggle with distraction and need some help with focusing, this one helps you with your habit journals. Okay. All righty. Accountability partners. This is just part of the process. James Clear talks a lot in his book about Atomic Habits, about breaking a bad habit, that accountability is a powerful way to help yourself, because often you'll do for someone else what you won't do for yourself. I'll do that. So if you're having trouble reaching a goal on your own, get an accountability partner, join a group, hire a coach. Get some accountability, have someone look over and help you reach these goals. All right. I don't even know what number I'm on. Okay. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Let me just go over them again. One habit at a time. Stop being hard on yourself. Harnessing the power of community. Celebrate small victories. Reframing failures. Habit journals. Accountability partners. All right. Here's the next one. A structured plan. We rise and fall to our systems. If you don't have a solid plan, like what I find is most people don't know what they need for their nutrition. You need some help. You don't know what to do for exercise. Listen, I will waffle. I have to have a plan. We thrive off of plans. So make sure you've got a structured plan for yourself to achieve the goal. And then the last thing is, not the last thing, 2 more things. Time management. There's 24/7. Everybody's got 24/7. There's a reason why some people are far more productive than others. Okay. It's how you manage yourself in that 24/7. So learn how to manage yourself better. Put yourself on a schedule. Carve out time for your health. Like, prioritize what you need to do. The change that you want to incorporate will cost you time. It will probably cost you money. And it will absolutely cost you energy. Listen, I won't work with one person. I will not work with one person until we have the conversation ahead of time. Do you have time? It's going to require, for the goal that you've got, it's going to require about this much time, a day, a week. Do you have this to implement this change in your life? Because if you don't have the time, guess what? You're going to do the same things. All right. So time management, crucial. And then lastly is technology detox. You know as well as I do, the screens, we live in a world dominated by them. And they are designed to keep you on them. And you're probably going, oh, girl, just don't even tell me. I'm like, yeah. I saw someone, I don't know if this is true or not. They said, we touch our phones about 2,700 times a day. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I just literally, I kind of saw it I saw it on social media. I'm just saying, but from somebody that I trust. And I thought, well, gosh, I don't know if I touched mine that much, but I know how many hours my phone gives me for whatever reason, on Sunday morning, it tells me my screen time for the week. On the way to church, it pops up like a notification. I can't even not see it, right? I'm like, shucks, I got to do better on this. I can do better. I've got to do better. But we have to be reminded. I want to remind you that billions and billions and billions of dollars is spent to keep you addicted and needing to know what is the next notification, a dopamine release in your brain. So we're literally addicted to it. Interesting, I just was reading about how some of the way that the technology, the way you have to refresh and pull your, how you pull your screen down, you have to refresh. And I have tons of different apps that I have to do that. And I find myself when I'm really distracted and not aware and, giving into all of that, I have to I'm going from one app to the next, refreshing, pulling it down. Is there a new notification? And it's a device from gambling casinos. It's the same type of technique that the next one, there's something coming around the corner. So you're not alone. You are not alone with feeling addicted. So take a detox. Interestingly enough, I wasn't planning on doing this today, but I felt a very strong urge in my spirit to take an absolute day off of social media. Don't go in, don't check, don't do any of the above. And already it's so refreshing. All right. So that was a long-winded overview. That was actually the solutions to the start stop. I do want to give you some things that are examples of the problem. And then I want to give you a little bit of some thoughts around this that obviously, when we have old habits and old patterns in our life, it's difficult to change. And there's also the thing of, are you allowing the time for this? Like if you can't allow the time for the change or to make some progress, you're not going to make the progress. So if you're fully overcommitted with your schedule right now, you're not going to make that type of change. Another problem that I find, even just kind of with the start stop, is comparing to others. We often look at others who have created the habit already, or they're successful at what we want to be successful at. Fill in the blank with whatever. Maybe they're a better communicator. Maybe they're at a healthy weight and you've been struggling with yours for the last, 5 years or whatever. Or they look younger than you do, or they have more money than you do, and their life looks like it's all put together better. Gosh, comparison is truly the thief of joy. I mean, I know that we hear that and that's kind of a quote unquote cliche, but it's absolutely the thief of joy. But when we're starting a new habit, when we're developing something new in our lives, it's so easy to look at somebody else's chapter. They're on chapter 52 and you're on chapter 1. And it can feel discouraging if you allow that comparison. So just bring some awareness around that. Okay. So one of the things that I think is really important is to, now let's go into a little bit more of the neuroscience of this. I love James Clear's saying right here, winners and losers have the same goals. So it's not that you don't have good goals or want to achieve your goal. It's just that you're not getting there for all the reasons I mentioned above. Now, here's the thing. I want to bring a few goals that people have. You want financial freedom and we want to be able to give to causes and organizations. We want to have an awesome marriage and thriving relationships, right? And just raise your hand. Yes, yes, yes. Of course you do. We all want to look fabulous in our swimsuits, right? We want to look good. We want to feel good in our skin. And, for some of us in this midlife, we ain't even worried about an 8-pack abs. That would be great, but who cares about that? I just want to feel more confident in my own skin. We want a healthy lifestyle. We want a strong faith and a close relationship with God. These are things that we want in our life. But here's the thing. I want to give you a reality check. I want to give you some statistics here. So even though we want financial freedom, 60% of the population lives paycheck to paycheck. Now they're dropping through the Starbucks on the regular, you know what I'm saying? And spending money here and there, but not actually doing the hard thing to create financial freedom, which is a denying of spending right then, right? Have an awesome marriage. Well, nearly half of marriages end in divorce. That's the statistics. I can attest to that. I've been divorced. We want to look and feel good. We want to be at our great weight, right? Well, here's the deal. 71.6% of adults aged 20 and over are overweight. Now, let me say that one more time. 71.6%. That is almost 3/4 of the population is overweight and or obese. But we want that. We want to look good and feel good, but the reality, that's where we are. Okay. And how about a healthy lifestyle? Did you know that 80 to 90% of chronic diseases are driven by lifestyle factors such as diet and exercise? What about a strong faith and relationship with God? But we struggle with being too busy. We struggle with distractions. We struggle with focus and priorities. We struggle with getting up early instead. That bed is comfortable, so we stay there. John Maxwell says we have uphill goals and downhill habits. The problem with all of this is that there is, for you to have true change, true transformation in your life, it is going to require new habits. And for you to create new habits, you will have to go in and you're going to have to disrupt the pattern, the cues that you've got set up and the reward systems that are in your brain. You've got to go in and disrupt that. And this is the thing. If you don't want to be one of those statistics that I just read above, focus on that one area of your life that you can create change. I actually want to just speak over you that you can change. You can become every bit of the woman that God is calling you to be. You can do it. And if you are feeling discouraged in this process, maybe it's been a long time, focus on those things that I mentioned above, one habit at a time. Focus on those things that you can do now. And I'm in the middle of doing a Bible study with Marshawn Evans Daniels, her latest one. You may have heard my podcast on it earlier, of the abiding with Christ and being with him. And what does that look like? And she calls abiding living in that place of hopeful expectation. And I want you to have that hope again. I want you to know that you can, and you can, and you will change. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. I have got several programs where I can help you with this. I've got a Jumpstart that's literally $37. That thing is all about thoughts, actions, and habits, and how to truly go in and truly make change in your life for a Christian woman, with your spirit, with your mindsets, and with your physical health. It's really incredible. So let me just real quickly go over those solutions to stopping the start-stop syndrome. Focus on one habit at a time. Stop being so hard on yourself. Harness the power of community. Celebrate small victories. Reframe your failures. Get a habit journal. Keep track with what you're doing. Grab an accountability partner. Get a structured plan for whatever you're doing. Know what you're going to do. Focus on time management, specifically yourself in time management, and practice detoxing from technology. All right, you've got this. I believe in you. I trust in you. I do want to share a quick little story of one of my clients who has been struggling with this particular syndrome for a long time. And I'm working with her one-on-one, and she's in my mentorship group as well. But the power that she found with our community when she fell off the wagon, to jump back in and get back going, because she felt accountable because other women were doing the same thing. And she was able to change her mindsets around, okay, never mind, I'm just done. I'm not even moving forward. She was able to release 11 pounds very quickly, but make lifestyle sustainable changes in her life over the progress. And so the power of community, you cannot underestimate how important that is. So, all right. We've got one more week of this series. It's coming next week. Oh, it's going to be a good one. You don't want to miss it. We're going to talk about truly how to take all three of these problems and these solutions to literally unleash your full potential. So I will see you back, same place, same time. Please share this with a friend if you found value. Put it in your, I would love for you to share it on social media. This helps me to get this word out, and it actually helps my podcast too. So I appreciate you guys so much. Love you. See you next week. Bye. Girlfriend, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm so honored you come back every week and that you share the Fit Soul podcast with your friends and family. Every time you share my podcast on Instagram or Facebook, I do a little happy dance. Make sure you subscribe to the Fit Soul podcast, where you'll never miss an episode. You can go to Podcast, Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify and subscribe so you'll never miss an episode release. And just know, I truly love bringing you excellent content and great guests to provide you motivation and faith inspiration to help you walk worthy. And one of the ways you can help me is to go and leave the Fit Soul Podcast a review. If you have just a moment, would you please go over and leave a review for the Fit Soul Podcast? Thank you again. I love you. And here is your reminder. You are worthy. Until next time. Bye-bye.